Hey guys, so working on my 64 panhead, rebuilding it, and I'm to the point where I'm doing my star hubs. I know there's a couple videos out there right now that go through it. We can do one more, see how this thing actually comes apart. I've never had this one apart yet. So it's pretty intricate by the drawing. I like to use my manuals a lot, so if you don't have it, that's what we'll be working on here. So I'm sure if you're doing the same as you have manuals as well. I have this service manual here. You'll have to forgive me, this camera shows everything upside down. I also have a climber's. It seems that between the two that you get something that one doesn't have. But basically it's saying we have to start by taking the shim pack cover off. So I don't know when this has ever been apart or if it ever has been apart. So the last one I did worked out pretty nice. It looks like a lot of it will be able to be salvaged. I had to order a shim pack and new seal kit and all that. So, but the bearings all look good. I have yet to measure them and all that. I thought maybe I'd do a video of putting it back together and what it takes to measure everything and make sure that your bearings are all right and with that, because there's a certain amount of clearance that the bearings are allowed to have. So I don't know if anybody's done anything like that. I don't claim to be an expert in this, but I have done a little bit of work on bikes, older bikes and all that. So I just thought that this would be informative for folks that have never worked on these before. Like me, I've never worked on one of these star hubs before. So it basically has 5 little slotted screws that you have to take out. Then this top cover comes off, and what you'll have there is your roller bearings, and then this is where all your shims and all that live. There's a thrust washer and what are they calling it here? The thrust bearing sleeve. So that comes out like that. Here's your shims right here. So I'll take that off. I usually lay all this stuff out, but you have that's the shim sleeve, or the thrust bearing sleeve. Then you have a thrust washer that goes on the inside of that. Now then there'll be another one inside here. We take that out. And there's that. Of course everything's filthy, nasty, greasy. Like I said, I don't know if it's ever been apart, but I like to lay this all out so like, you know, one can understand if there was any wear. The other one had a big groove in the thrust washer, like it wasn't shimmed properly. So then you'll have a whole array of shims that'll go in there. So take and pull those out. Like I said, this is pretty crusty, so it may come out easy and it may not come out very nice at all. The other one come apart pretty easy. Oh, I'm sorry. Well, that would help, I guess, right? So you have this piece, and then you have the outer piece here. This is a cork washer that goes in it, or seal. And well, it looks like there was only one shim in this. Normally they give you a shim pack consists of like, there's a couple in here I guess. The last one had like 10 shims in it. This one obviously looks like it had 3 in it. It's shimmed to whatever it needs for the side clearance of the bearings. So that sets like that. And it says that you need to come to the other side. And there's a snap ring right there that needs to come out. Let me get another pair. That comes out, so I'm going to lay that there. Try and lay everything out. You pull up on it, and there's this washer that has a lip on it. They say that that usually gets damaged. This one looks, with all the filth on it, like it might be alright. Then you're supposed to lift up and pull the inner tube out. These are your bearing races for your roller bearings. So that's what part of the thing when you go to put this back together, that you gotta measure and all that to make sure that it all is within specs. And you have another cork gasket for it. Then at the bottom you have, I don't know if you can see that, but it's another snap ring that we're going to have to get out of there. And while I was doing that, looks like the other side bearings come out. And these are all separate, but they're so nasty with grease that they're just holding in there. So I'll have to wash all this stuff. So let's get that snap ring out of there. This one's kind of a pain because it's way down in there, and it seems like they don't give you a whole lot of room to get it out of there. I think this bottom one I had to pull up like that a little bit and then use my pick, kind of pick it up and then slide it out. Thing smells like it's never seen the light of day since it come out of the factory. Let's see if we can't get hold of it. Ah, shoot. Just put it back in there. So this was the biggest pain on the other one, was getting this snap ring out of it. Undoubtedly, it's probably going to need a new snap ring by the time I get done with it, but that's alright. They say you're not supposed to use snap rings twice, so that's not a big issue. But it is kind of a pain to get out of there. So there you go. Easy cheesy, right? So that one you can see I bent it, so that one should have a new snap ring when I go to put this back together. But behind that is the washer. That's the washer that your bearings are going to ride against. And then you have your other set of bearings. So like I said, I've only done this once. I'm not an expert or nothing, but working with this bike, I've done a lot of these. You know, everything in this has these loose rollers, and you have to measure everything to make sure that you have the right clearance for this thing to run. So I thought maybe, I haven't seen a whole lot on YouTube to talk about how that all goes together, how you measure that properly and all that, or the way I would. So I thought maybe we would come back after all that and work on that. Here's a little paper gasket. Really the only thing that, all the seals are this, this, and this. So very old school cork gaskets and a paper gasket on it. So I'll go and clean all this up, and then we'll see about making another one where we're checking all the, to make sure that this race in here, where this bearing is going to run, is still the proper size for this bearing, right? Because if it's not the proper size, then the thing will chatter around in there, and that obviously is what's going to make your tires move around and all that, right? So I'll go and clean this all up, and then we'll see if we can't do something else to size everything up and maybe put it back together, all right? All right, thanks a lot, and bye.